Namaskar. 1,000 apologies for the delay. Sometimes, it takes the computer to screw things up. Everything is fine now. I am ready to go with this presentation. It's a very important moment in the history of United States. The big, beautiful bill. What exactly is big about it? What is exactly beautiful about it? Well, it's big because it aims for a very big outcome. It is also trying to, take care of some things that were quirks, if you will call it, in the taxation system, and these are now being ironed out. For example, it is making the tax cuts that were given in the first administration of Trump permanent now. What it means is that all of us who are paying taxes are going to have the same lower rate, not just for personal, but also for corporate. Corporate was around 22, but by the time you figure in all the other allowances, the net taxation comes around 16 or 18%, which is pretty decent, because you remember that Ireland has it's considered to be the best place to have your company incorporated, because it is at 15% corporate tax. So all that stuff is good. Now there is also a downside to this. This monologue is a balanced representation and look into all the pros and cons of this particular big beautiful bill. Who wins, who loses, what you gain, what do you lose? For example, they have made exemption for everybody who's earning tips. Tips is what any waiter works on, and also if you're delivering food, you get tips. A lot of stuff like that, right? All those tips are now exempted from tax, which is a big deal for those who are on minimum wages. So a lot of good things here, but there are also some things that are cause for concern. We're going to go through that. A small request to all of you to first, please like this video, and if you have not already subscribed to our channel, kindly do so. Here we go. What is so beautiful about the Trump's bill BBB? Well, this was a big drama yesterday. Two or three, I should say four Republicans walked out saying that they will not sign the bill, and suddenly the numbers were 207, 216, and you needed a minimum of 217 to win for the bill to pass. So finally, the vote was 218 to 214, with two Republicans voting against it. Still, there are problems. Some Republicans are saying, with this bill, I will not have a chance to get reelected. So everybody is for himself or herself. First, they want to make sure this bill, how does it help or hurt my constituency? And if it hurts the constituency a little bit, then they want to oppose it. Then they'll say, oh, well, I opposed it, but, that sort of stuff. You get the idea. So politics is the same, whether it's India or US or any other country. Democracy in name only, all are dinos. But be that as it may, this is a good thing, and I'm going to tell you all the things that I see are salient, that are good, that will help. There are some things that it extends. Like I said, it extends the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017. It was originally set to expire this year. Now, with this extension, these are now, I think, made permanent, if I remember correctly. And it also includes individual tax rate reduction. Actually, filing income taxes have become much easier. Although I must say, a lot of exemptions have been taken out. So you cannot claim those exemptions. So something good, something bad, but personally, I like it because I take less time now to file income taxes. It also enhances corporate tax initiatives, like I told you, to attract investment and promote growth. What is the goal of the Trump administration? What is the main reason for introducing and passing this big, beautiful bill? I think it will go to Trump's desk for his signature. I think he will sign it today. It's a symbolic thing that by July 4th, he had set a timeline, said that by July 4th, I'm going to have this bill signed. And by Jove, he has got it done, and he's going to sign it today, most likely. So it would be something that people will look forward to on the Independence Day of the United States, July the 4th. What are the goals? Stimulate economic growth, stimulate economic growth, attract capital back to the United States. You saw that, the three big countries or rich countries in the Middle East, Qatar, UAE, and Saudi Arabia, together are going to bring in about $3 trillion investment into the United States. You know that companies like Apple are bringing in $500 billion. Many other countries are pledging a lot of money. That is the bringing capital back to the United States. It also supports Trump's long-standing policy of low taxation for job creation and prosperity. What are all the things that it includes? It increases the budget of the Pentagon significantly. It also has enhanced funding for military modernization, AI-driven in defense tech, cybersecurity, and space-based assets. So there is support for veterans programs and expanded military infrastructure. What is the goal of all this? To reassert America's military dominance. To bolster the readiness in light of global threats such as China, Russia, Iran, and to position Trump as the defense president. Defense not as an playing defense, but the Department of Defense. You get it, right? What are all the other things, key components of the bill? Major funding for border wall expansion and high-tech surveillance. I told you about this story, right? In the first term of Trump administration, a lot of steel was bought to build this big, bad wall. And then the administration changed and Biden stopped construction. In fact, he opened the doors wide open and all this steel was rotting away. And it was sold on pennies for the dollar to the people who sold the steel to the government in the first place. Now, the government is going to go back and buy them back from them at inflated prices. Somebody is making money hand over fist, I tell you. Well, increased hiring of Border Patrol agents and ICE officers, stricter enforcement of deportations and asylum protocols. By the way, if you're out of a job and if you're looking for a job, and if you're less than 37 years of age, you can apply for many of these positions. I think 37 is the maximum age you need to apply, you need to have for applying to like posts and police, ICE, and so on. Limitations on chain migration and expansion of merit-based immigration criteria. I think Trump said that everybody who's coming in to study for graduate studies should be given a green card automatically. But that's a goal. It's more like a vision, but I don't know if that's going to be becoming reality anytime. So there's no specific language for that. Then, in the tougher border security and immigration enforcement, just recently they said that last month also there was zero illegal entry into United States. What is the goal here? To fulfill campaign promises on immigration control, to reduce illegal entry and reform the legal immigration process, and to appeal to the core, make America great again voters. By the way, guys, I'm watching howmanydeported.com every day, and there are at least 1,000 people getting deported every day. The number stands at 164,000. Very, very big number, just considering how much it costs and how much it costs to round them up, how much it costs to take them to the border and then set them loose. I don't know if there's some money being given for them just to sustain for a few days or something. I have no idea, but it does cost a lot of money. Now, in Social Security net programs, there has been a big cut. Major reductions are 1 trillion cut from Medicaid over 10 years. That means 100 billion every year. Cuts to, by the way, Medicaid is a very abused program. A lot of people are cheating there. I don't know when they are going to. DOGE should be really looking into Medicare scams, and that's something that needs to be really looked into. Cuts to Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program called SNAP. Food stamps, housing assistance, and unemployment benefits. Essentially, the illegals who are still hanging around, whatever little hope they had of getting food stamps, gone, up in the air. Rollback of Affordable Care Act subsidies. There are some subsidies from the Obamacare. For example, if you make $95,000 or less, maybe that number has gone up now, you got a great deal as far as insurance was concerned. You had to only pay, like, I think, 1/3 the actual cost incurred for whatever hospital stay expenses that you may incur. Now, there are deep cuts to Social Security programs. Like I said, the rationale is to offset the cost of tax and defense spending, to promote work requirements and reduce dependency. I don't know what that really means, but essentially what it is there were many things the Biden administration did where they just wanted to bring in illegals on any pretext. A lot of dubious funding has gone through. USAID, for example, is one shining example. So all these things are being snipped out. It also to appease fiscal conservatives demanding smaller government. Although this has become a bit of an oxymoron now, very smaller government. It's already now the US debt is 37 trillion. This is the big beef that is between Elon Musk and Trump, because this Trump bill, the big beautiful bill, is rolling back many green energy subsidies. I'll give you a simple example. When I bought my Tesla, right, I think I got a $5,000 credit from the federal government and an additional 5,000 from the state. And then I also got from Tesla unlimited charging. I think for my first car, I got that. The second car, I wasn't so lucky. The first car, it gave me unlimited charging. Even today, I have that car. So wherever I take that car, whichever supercharger, I just plug it in, don't pay any money, gets recharged, and keep going. So it was a big deal at that point of time. And these were all the, plus you also got something called as carpool lane access for 4 years after you own a Tesla. This was given to many EVs, okay? It's not specific to Tesla. Up to a certain limit, all the cars that you bought from a particular vendor enjoyed this 4-year carpool pass. And after that, it lapsed. Now, what is happening is, people, so when you had an electric vehicle, you need to have a charger at home, and this led to people having solar panels on their roofs. So all that stuff, the rebate for solar panel, the rebate, I got some money off for my solar panel also. Practically, it became half the price of what I actually paid up for it. So what I'm trying to, these are all examples. It doesn't mean that everybody got it, but you get the idea. All those things are phased out. No more solar credits, no more EV credits. And the investment is shifting to fossil fuel. Why? Because Trump has figured out, you might have seen my crude petroleum monologue, that crude is what drives the whole world around. Therefore, back to drill, baby, drill. That was the famous line that the Alaskan governor, Sarah Palin, had coined. And I think that's what is being proposed by the Trump administration also. What are the justifications for this? First of all, to reverse Biden era green energy priorities. They went a little overboard, let's put it that way. Prioritize energy independence and economic pragmatism over the climatic agenda. Remember, I shared in my crude petroleum thing that US exports 120 billion and imports 170 billion of crude. So they are trying to probably reduce the exports and see if they can become a net exporter. There are some other new things that are covered in this bill. Creation of $50 billion rural hospital fund. What does it include? A Senate added provision to mitigate backlash from Medicaid cuts. So if you lost out something on Medicaid, this is going to make up for the difference. Somewhat. Changes from state to state, you need to look at the fine print. Targets rural and underserved medical centers struggling with federal reimbursement shortfalls. The concerns are that the criteria for distribution are unclear, and there is uncertainty over whether the amount is adequate to offset. This I told you, right? That this is exactly what it is. There is some doubt whether the loss here is going to be offset by the gains there. Now, in this, there is a dual view. My guess is that there was a lot of fraud in Medicare, Medicaid. So if you take out that and if you bring it back to the more efficient system that was in place a few years ago, hopefully things will improve. Now, overall, what is the Trump White House view on the deficit and economic projection? And I'm going to give you an independent analysis of the same points. First, White House economists predict record job growth, capital repatriation, and poverty reductions. They claim that the bill will pay for itself through dynamic economic growth. What are the independent analysts saying? Chief Business Officer projects that 11.8 million people could also lose health insurance by 2034. You know, I have something here to say. Many illegals got health insurance. So if they lose it, would you say that, oh, these people lost it? But they entered the country illegally. On what basis are you going to give them medical benefit? That too free. In fact, in a state like California, it is illegal for me to ask someone, are you legal in this country or not? I don't know what the consequences are, but I find it very, very strange. So next one, the bill adds hundreds of billions to the federal deficit over the long term. So there is some doubt about this. Also, people are saying, no, the calculation should be done this way and not that way. But this coupled with, this is a fiscal measure. You need to have a monetary measure, which would be to reduce taxes, reduce rates. If that happens, then that would definitely stimulate growth and people will feel like borrowing from banks and doing more businesses. Party division and political pressure. There was intense arm twisting by GOP leaders to, try and unify the party and get behind this bill. Like I said yesterday, they were stuck at 207, and Democrats were at 216. To go from 207 to 218 and to go from 216 to 214 tells you that a lot of arm twisting, cajoling, coaxing, massaging egos took place before everybody lined up and signed for this, passed this bill. Everybody in the fiscal conservative group is complaining that this will balloon the deficit. But you know what? There are other things that are coming down the pipeline. Watch my series on currency that will actually take care of a lot of the deficits. This is going to be a new global order. And already I'm seeing a lot of people signing up for it. You need to listen to that episodes. First one is out. Second one will be out tomorrow. 3, 4, and 5 will be coming 2 days apart. Please do watch the entire series to understand where global finance is headed. Now, there are some people in the moderate section who are concerned about the deep safety net cuts, especially in Medicaid. House Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader John Thune led a high-stakes pressure campaign to win over the skeptics, and a lot of internal tensions, but finally they did get behind the bill and passed it. Now, what happens is, what are the compromises made in order to secure their vote? It is still unclear what the Freedom Caucus, this is a small caucus within the Republican Party, has secured for their support. What was promised? There is no public record of deals or concessions attached to their reversal. Some Republicans rely on promised executive actions for spending cuts and program implementation. There will be some, they call it as pork funding, something like that. Pork funding or some pork bills or something like that. Essentially, each congressman or senator would add something so that would benefit just his or her constituency and not everybody else. And they will stick out saying that unless you pass this, unless you include this in my bill, I'm not going to pass it. And somehow some of these things get passed depending on the vitality of that person. Of course, it also means that if you have some goods on them, you can perhaps make them see reason. I know I'm saying a lot of things tongue in cheek. You guys are very smart. You can understand what I'm trying to say. Okay. Finally, at the end of the day, 2 Republicans still ended up opposing this bill. Who are they? Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania and Thomas Massie of Kentucky. We'll have to wait and see what kind of fate awaits them, because Trump doesn't forgive. Trump doesn't forget. So there you have it, all the stuff that you wanted to know. This is all there is in this new bill. Well, this is about the salient points that it will. There may be some other things that I might have missed out, and I'm trying to see if you guys have any questions. Yes, there are a few questions. Let me just line them up. Okay, Aprameya says, this bill will waive taxes for Indians working under H-1B. Unfortunately, no, that is not waived. What is it going to waive? If you happen to be working in a restaurant for, during your off hours to make some money on the side, the tips that you get on that, you don't have to report them as taxes. Next question from Manofsan. The huge debt from this bill Musk got unhappy because he runs both the things. He runs electric charger companies. They have this huge power outlet that they sell, and also solar cell manufacturing plants. He owns a company, and he also owns Tesla. And on both these things, he's getting shafted, so he's not happy. Sugar rush from all the new spending. Actually, no, Manofsan. You know why? Because some of the newer models that are coming out from any manufacturer you take, they all are some version of hybrid. That is gas, that is gasoline or petrol, plus electric charging. Even as the petrol engine is running, it is charging the generator, which again starts storing. There's a computer that decides at what point you want to switch over from petrol to its own internal battery, and then it runs like an EV for some time. Then the battery falls down, the charge falls down, then again it goes back to charge mode. So this charge, discharge, charge, discharge cycle is happening. Many cars show this on a dashboard. You can see how it is. So today, if you ask me what is the consumption, I would boldly say it's around 40 miles per gallon for many of the cars that are hitting the road today. Doesn't matter which manufacturer. So a lot of interesting things coming out from the other manufacturers also. Certainly Tesla loses its sheen because it's an all-electric car. So that is something also of a concern. Musk will have to lower his prices way below. I don't know if he can sustain it at that low price. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.